we're back with you to take a look at your grain trade in this particular segment and to remind you that we have a crop tour going through the Midwest right now. And we also have some crop conditions that came out from USDA yesterday afternoon, but they were kind of lackluster. Corn condition didn't change at all. Soybean condition did go up 1 point. Cotton went up 2 points yesterday, and that was about it. Otherwise, not a whole lot of give and take here in the national crop conditions yesterday. Let's take a quick peek here at our grain markets, get you updated, and then we'll go to Chicago, in fact, and talk with an analyst on the side of the trading floor. Be there in just a second. Let's go take a look at the corn market. Right now on the corn. Here on September at the present time, we have it trading a penny and a quarter lower. We're now at 347 3/4. December down a penny and a half at 361 1/2. Soybean trade, September is currently trading 3 higher at 935 1/2. November up 3 at 939 1/4. And in the wheat trade in Chicago, we have September 4 1/2 lower at 405. Kansas City wheat on that September contract is at 401 3/4. My goodness, we're getting close to that $4 benchmark. We're down 6. And we have Minneapolis wheat now in September trading 3/4 lower at 654 1/4. Cotton market, in our search for positive trade, we have the December 28 higher at 67.84. Let's go to Chicago, where we have Todd Bubba Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com standing by at the edge of the trading floor. And there he is. All right, Todd, as we take a look at the grain trade here today, pretty lackluster. For one thing, I'm seeing a lot of weakness in that wheat trade. What's that all about?
Good morning, Merlin. Well, again, more sellers than buyers. I think that we're just, for some reason, the markets are dull. Money is more flowing to equities, and they're just pounding away at basically wheat and corn. I mean, they're both at levels that if they don't hold here, I think that they go lower. And unfortunately, I'm still a believer that we're going to turn this thing around. But overall, it's really getting to a point where the constant selling that just comes in every single day. Now, of course, again, I'm tying a lot of my decisions to what's going on in the equities, and equities are up today, so that takes away some of the money I think that's going to come into the grains, and we see just a ton of weakness and a ton of selling pressure. I mean, wheat's been down, I think, about 10 of the last 13 days.
All right, so on the wheat, where do you see support? Is there any support? Have we blown out all the support?
Well, I think around here, around 430 in December, I think is a spot that I'd look to step in. If we get much below this, I would think that they're probably going to 4 in December, and then it changes all the dynamics and it becomes just ugly.
Uglier. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for spelling that out. What do you hear off of the crop tour that's going on through the Midwest right now? Any rumblings this morning?
I have not heard much at all, but again, one of the biggest problems that I have with making any decision is that the volume and the interest is so light right now that any order that's more than the 10 lot all of a sudden creates some movement in the market. And that's the big thing to watch here. You know, we're getting, with no volume, we're getting a lot of push here. And that will make a difference when you see the true buyers or sellers come into the market. That will make the move. And I think that's the thing that's more concerning to me is not what's going on out there. It's the lack of money flow here and the lack of interest.
Have the big commodity funds gotten out of all those long positions now, do you think?
I think they've got out of a bunch, but I think they're probably still holding as well. I think really one of the things that we do see in commodity markets is when they're slow, they typically will drift a little bit lower. And that's what we're basically seeing, a drift. I mean, it's not like we're just, getting hammered in one day. It's like every day it's 3, 4, 5 cents, 3, 4, 5 cents every single day. And it's just on lackluster volume, that doesn't mean a lot right now.
All right, Todd, we'll bring you back here in just a moment. We'll talk about the livestock trade, too. What's going on there? We'll find out in a moment with our guest, Todd Bubba Horwitz. He's in Chicago. We'll be right back. Well, now we are going to check back in with Todd Bubba Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com at the edge of the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. We covered the grain trade here a little bit ago. I want to focus now on our livestock market action. And let's take a look at our live cattle quotes, our feeder cattle quotes here. Todd, we have live cattle higher across the board now today. We have October up 65 at 106.50. So it's about 70 cents off of our earlier low of the day, by the way. December 65 higher at 108.70. Now, if you look at the feeder cattle market, currently you have the August up 70, September now up $1.30 at 140.45. We're $1.30 off of our earlier low of the day. So it started out basically about steady on the session, I guess, and has been firming up pretty much ever since. October up $1.18 at 140.68. And, you know, we had talked about this yesterday, where the feeder cattle traditionally, up until about a week ago, they were generally doing the inverse of what the corn did. So if corn went up, the feeders went down, and vice versa. Now it's like it finally got back on track here today.
No, they just all go down together. They all go up together. But I think that cattle looks great. You know, again, we were looking for 105, 106 in the fat cattle, and we got there. And now I think we're going to start to see some movement higher. You know, and I think the same thing in feeders. 138, to 140. We got the 139.10, I believe, was a low. That was the numbers we were looking for to now get back involved and look for a push higher. And I think we're going to see now a much bigger rally. You know, the formations have changed. We're now more in contango than backwardation. So I think that cattle itself, both fats and feeders, look terrific, and I think these are great opportunities now to look for higher pricing. I know there was a lot of bearishness on the street, and a lot of people were looking for sub 100 again or sub $1 again. I go, okay, that's great, but according to the way I look at it, I'm ready to be a buyer now, and that's where I'm at. I'm ready to step in here. 105, 106 in the fats, and 140, 139 in the feeders.
There is one train of thought out there that maybe just below the market, as you mentioned, that $100 benchmark there, that if the market would go down and go just below that, it would trip all kinds of sell stops under there that could be harvested, and then the market would snap back after that. Do you buy into that theory or not?
Yeah, no, that happens quite often, Marlon. You know, one of the problems is when you're not preparing yourself, you know, as a farmer or a producer, and you're trying to stop underneath the market, I think you find yourself more trouble. So what'll happen is everybody will stack underneath that $100 level, and then all of a sudden it gets close, and then of course the traders know what's going on, and they're going to come, they're going to push them down, and they're going to trigger all those stops, and they don't know whose they are, but they're going to trigger them and push them down a little bit farther, create a little bit more panic, and then you're going to see the spring back. The same as we saw last October when we hit 96. You know, again, this is a thing that's why the best thing to do is always just to protect what you have by using some sort of hedging technique that allows you to lock in those prices so you don't have to worry about stops below the market.
All right, on the lean hog side, here we'll take a look at the futures market for everybody. And on the lean hogs, well, we have October just up 7 cents at 64.75. You know, we had December over $60 there for a little while this morning. Yeah. And then it lost traction. It had slippage, and now we're at 59.72. We're down 13. February down 44 right now at 64.18. So, Todd, that's one that we're going to have to watch very closely. It looks like it tried to get up there. It just cannot get ahead of steam buildup today. Todd, good to visit with you. Thanks so much for all the comments.
Have a great day.
I look forward to talking with you again soon. Todd, Bubba Horwitz. BubbaTrading.com is his website. Great website, by the way, if you want to check it out.
Yeah, good to see him. We took a little bit of a break from us. We missed him. Thank you, Markets Editor Marlon Bowling.